Alright, so we're gonna do another ramble of an 11 city. This one was our sloppiest run by far, mostly in part to the second boss, which is very funny. This is the build I'm running. You can check in mm, this Windrush node right here to help alleviate some of the pressure on the second boss. It really doesn't matter. Ram Dagger does nothing, you can just heal it. Um, Poison Cleansing is for a single mob at the very end of the dungeon that kind of collapse. It's like one talent point to save you probably two or three cooldowns committed, and you probably still send cooldowns even with Poison Cleansing. Uh, yeah, that's about it. Very standard. Here we go. So we're gonna start heading off to the right, um, to interact with this chick right here, Rogue NG, whatever. This is we basically just ripped the M0 route and stuffed it into an 11, and it worked completely fine. These swarm guards are horrible mobs. Um, this I just get fully channeled on. I was like the only person who could kick that, and I just let it happen to myself. Here you go. This ticks pretty hard. Yep. The bolt's going off at the same time makes it tick even harder, or makes the ticks hurt more. Um, Yeah, and then after this, we're gonna do an absolutely psycho pull where we grab double swarm guard and I jam every cooldown in the book, and it still looks uncomfortable as hell. So here we go. Double swarm guard, just like complete nightmare of a pack. I was just like never recommend doing this ever. Um, you can see here the ticks are going pretty crazy. Bam, a web belt goes out, basically die. Uh, yeah, I link after all the damage comes out because I'm a dumbass. And then we are going to get this Ravenous Swarm, and then we are going to get the next Ravenous Swarm, and then we are all going to die because I have 0 buttons to press. And I have a late cap because I had to shift into Wolf, so they end up with a single stack of haste. Um, we're getting the other double Ravenous Swarm out here. I have 0 cooldowns. I'm just begging for defensives at this point. It's just, yep, what a blast. Um, Never doing that again. But that's what we did in M0s, and it's kind of fun. Uh, this Herald mob, you just kick it, and then for the Dispel, I'm kind of seeing if I can get some visibility, and then calling out that I'm going to dispel people. And you know what? I'm playing with a bunch of Spurgy melee that kind of, like, right here, it's going to go out on easy. The dude is just strafing right, and yeah, you can dispel it anyway, as long as people can dodge. Anyway, Ravenous Swarm does a chunky amount of damage. That's a very chunky amount of damage. Very easy to die to Ravenous Swarm if you don't heal anything. And on this boss, we're going to do a U. We're going to start here and then do a giant U and end up back where this boss is. You kind of do like 3 or 4 vociferous indoctrinations. Um, the whole sequencing of the fight is very easy. You are basically just, well, you're going to start with a frontal, or it's a targeted frontal right here, the terrorize, spread it evenly around the boss, and then I'm going to dispel one fast. That doesn't have to be that fast. And then you're just going to watch the other guy, and it goes off, and then the only real way to die on this fight is if you linger and get ticked by the pool on the ground. That will instantly delete you. And then there's no way to recover your body. So here, that's the frontal. We're spreading out evenly around the boss. I am going to dispel myself, and then we're all gonna dodge Garrett's orbs. And That repeats for a couple more, so we're going to do another Vociferous Indoctrination right here. And then I think we kill it before we need to move one more time. Yep. But that's the U. I don't think you need much more room than that. Here, there's some stuff that I'm gonna do. I tag the far mob, the far eye. That this is always the same eye, and the tank bottle is going to speed taunt the eye in right there. It kind of runs in, so you get the void rush. If you do not speed taunt it or pull it in with a grip, it's just going to void rush a mile away. I get rooted like a dumbass. Um, and here's hmm. Here is another thing that is going on. We're just going to go back and look at that real quick. So right here, he comes in, he does his Void Rush. Both the warriors reflect. You can just reflect Void Rush. You know, Carrot reflects early and doesn't get it, but you can reflect it, and it'll do no damage to them. Here, I'm going to take a little peep around the edge. Yep. So only the Eyes of the Queen, they're like little pre-neutral mob, will only load in if it is the correct one. So for this first spot right here, you can pre-check it. Basically, there's only one mob that exists there, so if I hover around and I see two mobs, it means it's in the first spot. That's about it. These mobs don't have a lot going on. The Null Slam is really annoying for down. They just create so much downtime. You come around this side. Tanks can't get aggro on these mobs. Like, their threat table doesn't exist until they start moving. Which means that a lot of the instant damage that you do, like Healing Rain or, you know, Warrior's Blade Storming, is going to immediately generate aggro before tanks have a time to do a lot of stuff. If it is this number one spawn right here, I mean, this is like the closest spawn. If it is this close spawn right here, then it means it is always going to be a far spawn for the like middle section, which is the like far back platform, which means that this RP ends up taking like an additional 15, 20, maybe even 30 seconds of just running around, which is excessive range for RP. Like, there's absolutely no reason that that should exist. Here, you just run around. We already know that it's going to be far. I'm pinging it. We have to jump around this priest. Just walk right into that. Giant crossbow it. Walk through a couple priests. It is always here. If you get the cliffside spawn, you get this back spawn. And it is just such a far walk. Here, nothing goes on. The warriors reflect the Void Rush. This dungeon is absolutely broken if you're a warrior. This comp is obscenely good. It's just disgusting to run this dungeon with. We could probably do it on a 12 if we weren't idiots. Look at how much running there is. Oh my god. So here, this is super funny. We can see the thing, like... Easy just jumps into the circle right there. Gets himself webbed. And it has to be in one of these spawns. We see that it's back here. I'm waiting for the tank to pull it. And... Yep. Here we go. The Void Rush always hits 5 times, so that's another thing. This pull is pretty sketchy when you're a man down. So, someone, because we're missing someone's always going to get 2 stacks. That's me. That's okay. I just heal it. Press Astral late because it does no damage. And Easy comes back and immediately gets null slammed. And the release in this dungeon is just so far away. If you don't kill the second boss, then the release is at the start of the dungeon. So here, that's actually a much more realistic version of how much damage the Void Rush is doing. You can see CL is half HP. You know, he's just taken a couple knife throws. as we're going out. The Void Rush is going to come out. He's going to get one stack, the second stack, and immediately die. And I really should have linked. I have no idea what I'm holding my cooldowns for because there's so much RP in between the time that it takes from this eye to fight the boss. You can basically get all your cooldowns back. So we're just gonna continue on. I'm probably gonna link this Void Rush right here. I'm pretty sure Bottle just dodged the Void Rush there. Or the Ellie got the stacks. Let me see if I can see what's happening. Yeah, Void Rush Ellie, Void Rush Carrot, Void Rush Ellie. Okay, so Earth Ellie can soak the Void Rushes there. You can see it right here if you're looking at right here. It's basically picking all its targets. Incinerates my Ellie. Everyone gets one stack. That's kind of cool tech. There you go, Shamans. Sent the link. Excessively late. And then we were going to wait around for a minute. You know, just in time for the rest of the crew to catch up. This boss has some of the most obnoxious visual effects that I have ever seen in a dungeon encounter. So we're going to skip through all of this. In P1, the very first P1, because this fight alternates between two phases. One phase that does the Shade Slash, which just is a frontal, and it's icicles, where it puts out a magic debuff on everyone. And then the other phase being Brine Dagger. So here, as long as you're not stacked, you're not going to die. It doesn't do that much initial damage. The dot does kind of hurt. It doesn't hurt that much. You can see that Easy is taking barely anything, but Carrot took a lot because he got knife thrown. You can do a lot of things. You can dwarf, snare removal. I drop the Wind Rush. So right here, I drop Wind Rush. It cleanses myself. You know, I'm telling them to walk into it. No one walks into it. I don't know if it cleanses you if you walk into it or if I have to drop it on top of them. Here, if you point these frontals like at the wall, they barely move because if they can't go the full duration or the full length of their charge, they don't move that far. Here, this whole phase, you stack on the tank. Rhyme Dagger is going to come out as long as all 5 people are inside of it. It is just going to immediately end and do nothing. It's going to happen one more time, and this time it's like kind of spooky because you also have the Duskbringer. So people are taking damage from that at the same time. And then we are going to point these frontals at the wall here. And you can kind of watch them hop about. So, see, they barely move. And then we bait poorly, and now they move a lot. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Right here. We get Shade Slashes. They spawn from the bosses and from these circles around here, so you can see them. So I walk around behind this one. The visual is like, I thought it was completely safe. I start casting Lava Burst. I'm not even healing. I literally am like, oh, I'm safe. And then I cast Lava Burst, and then I die. And I Rage Onk, get up there, immediately go for the B-Res. He's going to Shade Slash again. I don't even see any purple around my character. Like, am I a dumbass? Do they go forever? But this one right here is what I'm assuming killed me or something. I'm still obscenely confused about it. Every time I watch this, I'm just like rage pinging myself. Feel like, I don't know, extend the graphic on that if it's going to kill me there. And if we look closely on the other thing as well, right here, at the same time that I die, we're just gonna see if we can freeze frame it. Go back a bit. Just gonna click real slowly. You can see right here that one warrior and one rogue are stacked on top of each other, but only one person is gonna die. So we're going. Wow, only one person died, even though they're stacked. Maybe it's bugged. Who knows what's going on? I was very frustrated with the hitbox. Mostly this one right here. I'm just gonna keep complaining about it until it's fixed. Because I was pretty upset. So that's the moral of the story, is that you can full wipe on the second boss on an 11 here and still time the key. It's that easy. You have so much time. So we just full wipe. On top of the fact that, let's see, we full wipe, we lose like a minute and 15 seconds for a full wipe, and then it takes us over a minute to get back to the boss fight and pull. So we just lost 2 minutes and 15 seconds. It's like just like the craziest decision to make deaths cost more time. Here, I'm just like despair running around in Ghost Wolf because I died to the frontal once and now I'm traumatized. Um, yeah, I just dwarfed that one and then dispelled, and then I'm gonna dispel in a bit if I need to. Again, the dot really doesn't do much, it just slows you. Here is the easy phase. It's just Rhyme Dagger. Rhyme Dagger and Dustbringer does damage. You heal the Rhyme Dagger and Dustbringer. It's the only damage that really goes out. Bait the steps. They hop around like a little bunny. And this is the worst phase in existence. This is probably the worst boss in the entire dungeon right here. We're going to get the slashes coming out. I'm just like over moving every single time because I have absolutely no faith in the animation at this point. It's going to happen one more time. You can see I'm still over moving. Easy dies. I'm pretty sure he's standing like right behind the boss as well. It's just I think something is completely broken with the animation. There you go. See, I wouldn't rush to get the dot off, mostly for the movement speed. The knife throw is going to do way more than the magic dot is ever going to do. Rest of the fight is very boring. You have to heal this Rhyme Dagger and Dustbringer again. This one actually does something. And then you bait, and then we are dodging frontals, and I am still over moving. Scarred for my life. Nothing going on. Here we go. These packs, we're pulling a lot here. The only thing that is happening is tank damage. Just obscene amounts of tank damage. These conscripts have a stacking jab. That's the debuff on bottle that you can see there. Brewmaster dodges a bunch of them. A bunch of the debuffs, but it still does a ton of damage, just the raw melees. So you could honestly pull this entire area and just have the tank kite forever if you can keep aggro, because nothing else happens. That's the pack. We pull a bunch of these. There you go. So the debuff on the left is the rigorous jab or something, and it's stacking, and Brewmasters can dodge it. And now that he's at 4, it's a 40% amp on any of the subsequent conscripts, which means he is trying not to get hit anymore. And the pack is dead. Now we're going to go up. We're going to do this big Venom Guard, Venom Shell. The first thing he does is Venomous Spray. You're going to Poison Cleansing Totem this one, and then you're going to instantly reset Poison Cleansing Totem so that you do not accidentally reset another totem. As you can see, no damage goes out because you Poison Cleansed. We're going to get one more Venomous Spray here, and I'm probably going to send a single cooldown as well, just to save anyone that the Poison Cleansing, because it can dispel in any random order, and sometimes it's bad, like it'll dispel the tank before DPS. So you might still need to send a cooldown. That's Ascendance. Here, these subjects give a lot of count. They're very good for count, but they also just don't move ever, and it's super obnoxious. They cast Dark Barrage, which is what he's doing right there. It just drops the swirlies, does 0 damage into an immediate channel of Fierce Stomping, which does a very light amount of party-wide damage. Very light. You could probably double up on these, maybe even triple up. They do nothing. They just don't move. So you have about 6 seconds from the end of the Fear Stomp to the start of the next Dark Barrage where you can move them. And here we go. We're just going to cap the buff, kill the droplets, and then fight the boss. This boss, do not soak an orb if you are squishy or do not have self-healing. There are lots of people who can do it for you. Lots of very tanky classes. And if someone tries to tell you their class isn't tanky, they're lying. I don't know. So a lot of them are going to go to the tank. The warriors are going to pick them up whenever they have him pending. Carrot's going to die to the first slam. Because he's like standing right on the edge of that, and it's super funny. And you can see the absorb is pretty big, but warriors can heal it off very easily. And the only thing you have to worry about this entire fight is the healer is his energy bar right here. Just paying attention to this number. As soon as it hits 100, I'm going to slam Link. I'm probably going to slam Tide. I might slam Ascendance. I do not. Okay, Link and Tide. There you go. And everyone got pretty low. That shit is pretty scary. But because he starts the fight at a healthy amount of energy, he starts the fight with almost 40 energy. That means by the time he is at 65%, he does his first Dark Pulse. You get to slam a bunch of cooldowns. And at this key level on an 11, he is not going to Dark Pulse again. He is going to die before the next one. So technically, I could have sent everything. Yeah, on a higher key, maybe you Link Tide 1 and then Ascendance the next one. And we're just going to keep going around and around. And you can see his energy is at 80%, 90% as he's at 6% HP. We're just going to soak a few of them and kill him before the Dark Pulse. Here, kill a subject. He doesn't really move. I walk in a little bit to start the RP. I'm not actually sure if you have to be in that room to start the RP. I just like, why not? Here, so you can see the Fear Stomping. Like, look at how much damage it does. It's not a whole lot right there. Do whatever you want, just don't send any cooldowns on it. Here, I think we double. Doubling is a bad idea. I do not recommend this. This Umbral Weave absolutely cranks, because you get the dot. So the Umbral Weave is going to do, what is that? 30% of your health bar, and then the dot is ticking for, let's see, 800k. Okay, the dot ticks for 800k. The weave does 30% of your health bar. And now I'm crying because I'm rooted. And I might have died to the slam there. And then it's going to happen again. We're going to get swarm. This time you have plenty of time to heal up before the next Umbral Weave. So they're all topped up. Very easy. Nothing going on. It's going to slam into another thing. Again, there's no overlap for a while. So as long as you end up killing... I just definitely trolled my cap totem there as well. So they're all hasted. We're going to get a weave right here. I'm probably going to commit a bunch of stuff. Maybe Link on the next slam here. I have no idea how that... I have no idea how I'm alive right now. Like, I'm standing on the circle. No idea how anyone's alive right now, actually. Yeah. So I guess you can just heal through it and it's fine. And then one last Ravenous Swarm, but with no other Umbral Weaver, no other random damage, the Tremor Slam isn't going to kill you from that. Move your healing rain away from the boss so it doesn't pull, and I am just sipping to full because we have plenty of time here. Now, the strategy on this boss is absolutely broken for warriors. Warriors can reflect Splice. It makes this obscenely easy. I think I am putting Earthshield on the rogue. Let's see. Yeah, Earthshield goes on the rogue. Me and the rogue are the only people that I have to heal. You downpour for the splice, get the HP, heal up a little bit as long as people have more than 50% of their health bar, then you're not going to die to the um, Umbral Weave. The warriors are saving some pad for the weave. It's very good. You can see that one of them knows how to reflect properly and the other one doesn't. So it makes this one a little more uncomfortable, and I decided to link it. You could have done whatever you wanted there. Like, it could have just AG'd and healed, and I decided to commit link. Here, we're going to get off the tank. I'm going to swap the Earth Shield onto the tank, and I'm going to just start nuking him with healing for the process of elimination. It does a chunky amount of damage. I don't know how a whole lot of tanks. I know that Pro Warrior is very good at handling process of elimination. Brewmaster is pretty good with process of elimination. At some point, we'll see if I ever swap Earthshield back to the Rogue, because my head is pretty empty right now. I'm probably going to commit one healing cooldown per overlap at this point. There we go. Got the Earthshield on the Rogue. Gonna send something on the Splice. We're going to downpour the Splice, get the HP. You can see I have just tremendous amounts of HP. Send the Ascendants. Barely have to heal anything. Yeah. I say this because warriors are absolutely broken, but if you have other tanky classes, this is going to work exactly the same. So we get another process of elimination, put the Earth Shield back on the tank, give him a nice HP buff, make sure he doesn't die, make him nice and healthy. There we go. Shifting anomalies. The whole strat, this entire fight, is basically to just stack on the tank and move clockwise around the room. At least that's the direction we're moving. You can move whatever direction you want. You can see one of the warriors missed the reflect on Splice again. Yeah, it happens. And the boss is dead. And now we're gonna go pull a single mob and kill it and time the key. And that is the 11 City of Threads. We I don't think I did anything higher than like an 8 before this. Used the exact same route as M0, and it's totally fine. Warriors make it a lot easier, but a lot of Shaman cooldowns are much stronger than than they need to be. Like Ascendant sort of full healed everyone on that. The fact that you get downpour for 10% more HP means that you guys are basically 20% safer with any resto shaman in the group than any other healer. Like on all of those overlaps, they would have to hit for so much more. Yeah. Anyway, that was a lot of healing overall. Almost cracked 1 mil HPS. Yeah, maybe we'll get there someday. Anyway, thanks for listening to the Ramble. Bye.